Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss Mac here in my home teaching studio. This is our first day of digital learning. So before we get started on the lesson, I'm going to go over kind of your course of study today. So if you're here watching this video, you've made the first right move, okay? That is our first topic, Monday lesson, themes. Once you finish this, the YouTube playlist should take you straight to Frankenstein Read Aloud, Chapter 3, okay? That's just going to be me reading Chapter 3, and then I'll provide like a little summary of the chapter at the end. As soon as that video plays, it should take you straight to Chapter 3 annotations. So during this part, it's going to be really key that you have your text out. You might want to open two windows next to each other so that you can look at the text and my video. And that video will guide you through annotating Chapter 3 in your text. And then the last thing you'll do is you'll go back to Google Classroom and complete your check-in about Chapter 3. That's just to make sure that you've gone through all the steps, okay? So you'll have all 4 of those things to do to complete Chapter 3 of Frankenstein. I've also posted your DLPs for each day, okay? I know you guys love those DLPs. I didn't want you to miss them too much. So your DLPs will also be there. So today you're going to have a lesson on themes. Then you're going to do the Frankenstein Read Aloud for Chapter 3. Then we're going to annotate Chapter 3 together. And then you'll have a check-in for Chapter 3, which is just a quick Google form, okay? So today's Monday, March 23rd. We've got our I can statements for the day. Today you're going to be able to identify major themes in Frankenstein and cite evidence that supports those themes. Okay, theme has to do with RL 8.2 and RL 8.1 is citing evidence that supports your analysis of the text. So those are the 2 standards that we're covering, and we're going to do that using Chapter 3. All right, so get ready. If you need some note paper, get it ready to the side, and I'm going to go over a little bit about the themes that we're looking for. All right. So in school, you've probably heard your teachers talk about theme a lot, okay? And with the standards that we have, we usually talk about theme like the one major message or moral of the story. So you've probably heard your teachers say that theme is the message or the moral of the story. And that's correct, okay? No one's lying to you. The theme is the message or the moral of the story. But I want you to be a little bit cautious with that definition, because while it is true, when you get into high school and college, your teachers may refer to theme a little bit differently. So when they say theme, they may mean multiple themes in a story. And what they mean is recurring ideas throughout the text. And these may create a moral to the story. Okay, so if you see in a text a lot of people getting in near-death accidents, right? There may be a message to the story about being safe, right, and taking precaution. But the near-death accident is a theme. It's a recurring idea throughout the text that leads to the main moral of the story. So in Frankenstein, Mary Shelley is going to use a lot of thoughts that she repeats throughout the text. In the very beginning of the text, she's going to talk about Frankenstein's relationship with his parents. And she does that so later she can talk about Frankenstein's relationship with the monster that he's created. Okay? In the beginning, she's going to talk about Robert Walton's fascination or obsession with science. And she's going to use that later to talk about Victor Frankenstein's obsession with science. So she's going to use these ideas throughout the text to make them really strong. So when you finish the book and you think back to it, you think about these themes, okay? These recurring ideas that come throughout the text. So as we read Chapter 3, we're going to be looking for 4 main themes in the text. And we have done these before, but let's break them down a little bit here before we get started with Chapter 3. So the first thing that we're going to be looking for is parent-child relationships. So this is any time you hear Victor talk about his relationship with his mom or dad. And then you're also going to hear him talk about his relationship with the monster. okay, parent-child relationships. We're referring to him as a parent of the monster since he creates him, okay, just like our parents create us. So parent-child relationships is really key in this book. You're also going to hear Mary Shelley talk repeatedly about her characters being either beautiful or ugly. This is important to Mary Shelley. She's writing this book partially for you to think about what happens to a person in the world when they're considered ugly by everyone else's standards. So she's going to give you characters who are beautiful and characters who are ugly, so you can track this is what happens to a beautiful person and this is what happens to an ugly person, okay? So you're going to see this repeated a lot throughout the text. You're also going to hear Mary Shelley talk quite a bit about rejection, especially rejection by society at large. What happens when people are pushed aside by society? Now, one of the reasons Mary Shelley is so fascinated by this is because her mother was in a lot of ways kind of a reject from society. This is her mother right here. Her name was Mary Wollstonecraft. And even though she was pretty well thought of by the elite thinkers of society, she was a feminist. She believed that girls should go to school and girls should be able to run for office and vote. And so she was kind of looked down on by a lot of people in society and often faced rejection. So this is kind of a thought that Mary Shelley is really passionate about, is why are people rejected by society and then what happens to them if they are. And the last theme that you're going to look for is fate or destiny. Now, if you remember in class when we did our big questions for Frankenstein, one of them was, is a person born evil or do they become evil? This is a big question for Mary Shelley. Victor does some bad things in this book, and it's a big question for her. Is this his fate? He had no choice. It was going to happen no matter what. All the events in his life led him to this point, or does he have the will to make that choice and decide what happens to him? So anytime in the text you see something about everything led me to this conclusion, or everything led up to this point, or I had no choice, or this was what was bound to happen to me, that's fate or destiny, okay? So these are the 4 themes we're going to be looking for in chapter 3 of Frankenstein. So as we read, we're going to be looking for evidence of parent-child relationships, of beauty and ugliness, of rejection from society, and of fate or destiny. All right, so the next thing you're going to go to is the Frankenstein Read Aloud, chapter 3. So get cozy, pull your book up, and let's read. Talk to you later.